Alright, so just came back from Ace, so I can picked up a couple washers so we can center these calipers, otherwise they won't work right. So got that out of the way. Before I get started or go any further, this is a 2019-2020 brake upgrade. They all came, some of them came with 4-piston calipers. So if you're lucky, you can go to a scrapyard, maybe pick them up off a Sierra 2019 or Silverado, and you can pick all this shit up together instead of buying it separate. I mean, you'll still need the washers, but everything else you can get obviously off the truck if you're lucky. Otherwise, just gotta buy it separate like I did. I wasn't so lucky. So I'm gonna go through where I bought them and how much I spent on them real quick. The brake caliper is 2019-2020 Silverado front. $70 each on eBay. Just make sure you get the ones that look like this. When I was looking them up, some of them look like the old school ones. So make sure they have a 4-piston and they look similar to these ones. These are actually off of Sierra, but Silverado, Sierra, same shit. The hardware kit, because mine didn't come with it, obviously. So these were $11 each from the dealership. There's part numbers if you guys need that. If that helps. And that's just for the pins, because when you buy brake pads, they come with this part. And here are the brake pads. $40 on eBay too. So here are those. Part number for that is right there. Part number if you guys need that, off eBay, $40. Rotors, they're obviously bigger, 13.5 inches I believe. Got those from Advanced Auto Parts. Those were $80 each, and the part number is right there. You guys want to get those too. So yeah, I had to piece it all together, which I didn't mind. It's pretty easy. And I already did the math for you guys. It came out to around $363 for everything. If you go to a scrapyard, you might be able to get it cheaper. So you can also go that route. I think $363 was pretty reasonable for a brake upgrade kit. That's a lot bigger than the stock ones. I'll show you guys, like compare them side to side when I get it apart. But yeah, so I'm gonna pull the truck in real quick and get to installing these. Alright, so I already got the truck jacked up. I didn't show you guys that because it's boring as fuck. Use jack stands and then keep the jack down there for safety. Just an FYI. Besides that, take your wheel off, and then from here it's gonna be like a basic, almost a basic brake job. But we're basically gonna get rid of the rotor and the caliper. So we're gonna go from this to this, or the other tool you're gonna need. I just needed a pick and a flathead to get rid of the retaining washer that holds the OEM rotor on. One side had it, the other side didn't have it, so yours may or may not have it. 18 for the caliper bolts. You're gonna reuse the same ones for the new caliper, so that's about it. 18. 11 for the brake line. You're also going to use the same brake line and the same bolt, so that's a big plus already. I needed a hammer on one side to kind of tap the rotor so it gets loose, and then some kind of pliers, because the new brake caliper comes with some hardware, so you kind of just needed these to position them in place. That's about it for all the tools you're going to need. Alright, so first step I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my 18mm socket, and then I'm going to take the 2 caliper bolts that hold it in place. So there's this one here, right here, and there's going to be one on the bottom, somewhere right here, this one right here. I'm gonna take those off real quick, and then the caliper will be out of the way. And alright, I got the caliper off, just the two 18mm bolts, and it just came out. I'm gonna leave the line attached to it till the very last minute, so I don't have to make a bigger mess than I have to. Now the rotor, sometimes they have the little retainer rings. This side didn't have them, the other side did have them, so that's why I had the pick and the little flathead to get those off. But if they do have them, just take them off. Here's little retainer rings, probably 2, and then that's about it. And then I did have to hit it with a hammer from the back a little bit so I can take it off. This side's already pretty much off. So there you go, that one's off now. So I'm gonna grab the other one, the new one, and install that real quick. Alright, we got the new rotor on. Now a very important step right here. Make sure you bolt this down using the lug nuts so you can simulate the wheel being pressed up against the rotor. So don't have it all loose. Have it, put some washers and then the lug nuts so it's tight, because this we're gonna need the washers for. So we're gonna grab the new caliper. You're gonna use the same bolts that you took off. You don't gotta get new ones or anything. This is where the washer is gonna come into play. Now you need the washer so you can center this. Center it up, otherwise it's gonna rub on one side. So I'm gonna put the phone down and I'm gonna show you guys real quick. Alright, so I'm going to quickly explain to you how to do the washers. It's going to be hard because I can't hold it and then film at the same time. Or record, I mean. But, so this bolt is just loosely on here real quick. Now the washers are going to go in between here. Let me grab. They're going to go in between here and the caliper. In between here. This bolt is loose. So you're going to put washers here. You got to figure out what size and how many, so you can center this in between the caliper, in between the rotor, if that's going to make any sense. So let me rotate this real quick. So you see the space in between here on this side of the caliper and the rotor, and then on the other side same thing. Between here and here, you want it to be centered. If you were to tighten up the caliper without no washers, it would be way too far to one side, and as you can see, it's probably going to rub on this side wheel here, over here on this side. So I know it's going to be a little hard to explain, but once you start messing with it, you'll figure it out. On the other side, what I ended up doing is I had to stack, I got these at Ace Hardware. I had to stack 2 of these, 2 for each bolt, and I had to center it as best as it could. Alright, so there you go. You can see the washers. I put them right there in between the spindle and the caliper. I ended up using 2, like I said, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top for the top bolt. And it's pretty centered, the space on this side and then the space on this side. That way when you rotate it, it doesn't rub on either side. So that's why it's important you hold this down somehow. I use this way. I'm pretty sure I don't know if there's another way, but this is how I did it. So like I said, this part I think it's going to vary between truck, so you just have to play around with it. For my situation, I just had to use two washers, like I said. So I'm gonna torque those bolts before I put it all together. But just so you guys know, that's the only part that's kind of critical. So you might have to just play around with it, make sure it's centered as best as you can between here and here. And then from there on, I mean, it's pretty much just another brake job. So I'm going to show you guys how to put the pads in. Alright, so I'm going to use the brake pads that I got from eBay, and then the hardware kit I got from the dealership, because they come with all the pins and the little clips. And when you buy these on eBay, they only come with this, so you still need this depending on how you buy your setup. But so I'm assuming this gets changed out every time you do the brake pads. But alright, so these things just slide in now. You might have to push the pistons in a little bit, so you might get a little bit of brake fluid leaking out from that port, so make sure you have something to catch it with. So they slide in just like that. This one might need to get pushed in a little bit more. So there's that. The pins, I've noticed, I've seen all the pictures I've seen of this people doing this. They go in this way and they go through the caliper, through the brake pad obviously, and then out the other side. And they come out the other side, and then you get the little retainer clip and you slide it in through that little hole right there. Just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Alright, so I got both pins in all the way across with a safety clip on the other side, top and the bottom. This part pretty much just clips over this top pin. These are the spreaders, I believe, so they got to go inside like that. Everyone always puts these pins up this way, up against the brake pad, so it kind of pushes it up or holds it up, I'm assuming. And then the bottom one, obviously you just gotta clip it in after you press these little things in. And there you go. So that's about it. Pretty easy, like I said, pretty straightforward, besides for that washer part, which is gonna be the only critical part that might vary from truck to truck. But I'm gonna go ahead and bleed this real quick. So yeah, just make sure the bleeder is up. If you forget which side is left or right, otherwise you will have a hard time bleeding it. Another thing to watch out for is the offset of your wheels. Depending on your offset, it's going to rub on the caliper, so you might need a spacer. Some other things to consider are the brake pedal feel. Some people say it sometimes feels a little too spongy, too smushy. My guess is because they have the 2-piston caliper in the rear, so that's why it gives them a little weirder feel. Mine only has a 1-piston, so it should be fine. And so I'm gonna go ahead and bleed this, drive it around for a bit, see how it feels, double check everything, and then we'll go from there. So now at this point I'm just gonna take that 11mm banjo bolt and then just put it in here, and it'll be a straight swap almost, like I said. So now I already got the line bolted up. Same nut, same banjo bolt, same line. You don't gotta buy another custom conversion line or anything. So like I said, it's almost a bolt-on kit. Bolt-on upgrade. So I'm gonna go ahead and bleed it. Like I said, make sure your bleeder is at the top of the caliper, otherwise you're gonna have a super hard time. And then I'm gonna put the wheels on, and we're gonna see how it looks with the wheels on. Should look nicer now with the silver caliper. It's gonna be bigger now. Might look a little way better with the wheel on it too. I already test fitted the wheel, so I don't have any rubbing issues. That's up to you guys to figure out on your car. My wheel specs are 22 by 10 with a 30 offset, so you guys can go off that. So you guys can decide if your wheels will match or will fit or not. 22. Alright, so I already bled it. One thing I do want to say is make sure you tighten this line pretty tight. Use common sense, but this one will start leaking a little bit. So I tightened it a little more and it stopped. You can probably put new banjo copper washers if you guys want to. That's up to you guys. Make sure you guys torque those 18s. Maybe put some Loctite on them, because this is just a safety measure. The brake pedal actually feels a lot firmer right now that I finished bleeding it. So I'm kind of wondering if I just had air in my previous caliper setup, because the other ones felt a little spongy. So I'm not sure if that's because of the brake caliper upgrade that it feels firmer, but that's something I noticed too. Like I did mention already, I do have a single piston caliper in the rear, so it shouldn't feel spongy compared to if you had probably a 2-piston. That's the only thing I can think of that might make a brake pedal difference. Besides that, I'm going to throw the wheels back on and then show you guys how they look with the wheels on. Alright, so once I've lit the brakes, took it for a quick 10-15 mile test drive. It's definitely noticeable. My brake pedal is a little firmer. It stops different, stops in a good way different. Stops a little faster, quicker, I want to say. Just grabs better, I guess. So yeah, pretty much bolt on, like I said, almost bolt on. Just watch out for that spacer. Make sure you have the spacers the right way. Torque your wheels, torque your bolts, use jack stands. Make sure you seat the brake pads properly, otherwise you'll have weird brake pulsation issues. Besides that, I mean, I think the video was pretty easy to follow, I guess. That's about it for now. Look a lot better than the OEM ones through the rim, through the wheel. That's about it. If we have any car guys, we just got the RX-7 running. There's a whole build series on this one. If you guys want to check that out for the car guys. But yeah, that's what the truck right now looks like. I think it was worth the $300, 300 and something bucks. Alright, guess we'll see what we do next